You know when Elon Musk said that he specializes in taking the impossible and making it merely late? With the Model Y, I'm not even sure it's late. I think it's right on time. Plus, Autonomous Vehicle Day is May 31st. What will you do for that? It looks like what Tesla is doing is releasing full self-driving 11.4.2 into the wild in large numbers. And SpaceX shows off just how awesome their Starship launch was. Let's take a look. Hey y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. I'm going to start with National Autonomous Vehicle Day, which I guess is just for the US, but you can celebrate it anywhere, because really these things are made up anyway, so celebrate away. But anyway, we have National Autonomous Vehicle Day on May 31st, observe the future on May 31st, with National Autonomous Vehicle Day and experience the realization of science and technology merging like never before. And speaking of, as most of you probably know, Tesla is rolling out full self-driving beta 11.4.2 to employees and actually to many people in the wild at this point. This is from Not a Tesla app. Of course, I will leave a link to all these things in the description so you can take a look at these in more depth if you feel like it. As far as what's new in 11.4.2, the release notes are the same as 11.4.1. I'll leave a link to that up in the corner if you're interested in looking at the release notes. I highly recommend it. But anyway, in Musk's tweet last week, he revealed this update will address small bugs around, quote, excess conservatism, focusing on improvements around narrow roads and lane changes. However, since most Tesla owners with access to FSD beta are still on version 11.3.6, this update will be a much bigger deal, of course. Not only will it contain the significant changes from FSD Beta 11.4, but also the many improvements Tesla added in Full Self-Driving Beta 11.4.1, as well as non-FSD features that were introduced in updates 2023.2 and 2023.6. So if you don't know, what this refers to is that there is kind of a fork in the code between the standard, non-full self-driving beta drivers, that version of the software, and the full self-driving beta software. Usually the FSD beta software is actually behind the other one because they have to wait for that to get, finalized and all of that, and then they feed it into FSD. So a lot of times those of us driving on FSD beta are behind in the regular releases, so it's just kind of goofy the way it all works. But anyway, this should bring everybody up to more or less the same basic base layer of the software that FSD is built on top of. So in other words, it's going to be a very major update, and Chuck Cook and a bunch of other people who are getting it, and no, I haven't gotten it yet. I keep checking my car to see if it's there. But anyway, I haven't gotten it, but the people who are getting it say it is substantially improved. And again, 11.3.6 is really good. So another big improvement over 11.3.x is going to be very much welcome. And it looks like it's very well on the path towards getting to better than the average human driver with very little need for safety critical interventions. Continuing on, the most recent FSD Beta 11.4.1 included improvements in turning and overall smoothness of the vehicle by better determining the environment around the vehicle. It also made improvements in assertiveness when encountering nearby pedestrians or vehicles in its path, which can lead to sudden braking or jerkiness, and I'm sure anybody who's done FSD Beta knows all about that. The vehicle will now measure the probability of interacting with the vehicle or pedestrian instead of coming to a sudden halt. Other refinements include several improvements to lane changes and when to take them, as well as a better understanding of bus lanes and when to use those. And again, if you haven't watched my release notes video, you should definitely do that because I go into excruciating depth about that kind of stuff. Improved speed control. One of the biggest improvements in this beta involves speed control. When in autopilot, the vehicle will typically use the speed limit of the road plus a percentage offset that you have set. However, as we know, the speed limit is only one factor that should be considered when determining your speed. Again, as noted in the release notes, autopilot will now smartly adapt its speed based on weather conditions and the type of road it's on. For example, the vehicle will travel slower in parking lots, dirt roads, or in residential areas. So personally, while this speed control is going to be great and it'll be wonderful to have the car slow down a bit when it starts to rain heavily and things like that, I really wish that they would enable more ability to adjust the speed based on a consistent number offset, based on personal preferences. There are other things where a lot of times it's not reducing the speed, but actually raising the speed that is necessary to drive properly with traffic or through some areas where the Tesla definitely has poor navigation data and thinks, like, again, outside of my neighborhood, it always thinks that the road is 25 miles an hour. It's actually 50. And so the car is going way too slowly. So that always involves an intervention where I have to scroll the speed up to like 50 in order for the car to drive at the proper speed for the environment. But regardless of that, it looks like 11.4.2 is a huge improvement, and I can't wait to experience it myself. Next, let's move on to this tweet from SpaceX from yesterday. This is a marvelous, marvelous video that they put out. Another step closer to Mars, the first flight test of a fully integrated Starship and super heavy rocket. And I'm going to play this here, overlaying the video so that you can watch it. I can't include the audio because I'm sure that there's some copyright restricted music and blah, blah, blah. So of course I will put the link to this in the description so you can listen to the audio. It's well worth it. It's really fun to hear the control tower talking and everything. But the really cool part is you can see all the people down on South Padre Island at the park at Isla Blanca Park looking at it, watching the launch and getting really excited about it. You can see the people in the control room getting excited. You can see some awesome new views of the SpaceX Starship. These things are just amazing. And then, of course, we see the people getting really, really excited as the rocket begins to take off. The shaking that's all around. Now watch the control room as we get there. You can see the windows just shaking and shaking. I can't remember how many miles away they are, but they're not that close to the Starship, and it was shaking. You could see how excited Elon was. He took off his headset, and, was looking out the window at it for real, not on the monitors, and just pretty amazing stuff. And then, of course, we get some really awesome views from the spaceship looking downwards at the control tower as it's leaving. You can see people cheering. You can see everybody at SpaceX cheering. So just a lot of excitement around this. And then we get some awesome views of the spaceship looking down again as it gets higher up into the atmosphere. Of course, if you've been living under a rock or something, a month ago this thing took off. I can't believe it's been over a month at this point. Look how happy Elon is. That's awesome. Anyway, and then you could get this really nice view of the Earth because it was up high enough that you could actually see the curvature of the Earth. And then another incredible view as it starts to lose control, and they probably fire the flight termination system somewhere around here. But anyway, the ship successfully launched. Yeah, you can see the flight termination system had been activated there because it was leaking out the sides. It just hadn't exploded yet. But anyway, and another great view. It's just amazing stuff that you're seeing out the side of the rocket, and you can see the Earth down below and everything. And then, of course, we find out that Starship 25 and Booster 9 are going to be next. So yeah, a pretty darn awesome video, and I thought I would share it with you. And then on to the kind of mind-blowing news. This is from yesterday as I record this, May 26th. We have Tesla Model Y is the first EV to become the world's best-selling car from The Verge. And of course the subtitle here says, a year later than Elon Musk estimated, but the milestone for Tesla is better late than never. Now, personally, I don't remember Elon ever promising that this was going to be in 2022. I believe he said by revenue in 2022, and I think he might have been accurate about that. What he did say was 2023 was going to be the year that it was going to be the best-selling car by numbers, not by revenue. And so for me, at least, I believe Elon Musk's estimate is actually on time, not late by a year, but whatever. It doesn't really matter. As he says, he takes the impossible and makes it merely late. So, reading the article, for the first time ever, an all-electric vehicle, specifically the Tesla Model Y, is now the world's best-selling car. According to analyst data from JATO Dynamics, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, the Tesla Model Y has surpassed Toyota's RAV4 and Corolla models to top global sales rankings in the first quarter of 2023. That's especially impressive given pricing for the 2023 Model Y starts at $47,490, considerably more than the 2023 Corolla at $21,550 and the RAV4 at $27,575. And this, of course, by the way, is why the Model Y was the best-selling car by revenue, if I'm remembering correctly, in 2022, because every sale of the Model Y is a bunch more dollars than either of the Toyota models. The figures reported by JATO Dynamics reveal that the Tesla Model Y sold 267,200 units globally in Q1, compared to the 256,400 Corolla and 214,700 RAV4 units sold during the same period. That's approximately a 69% year-on-year increase for the Model Y, a figure that Tesla's meme lord CEO, not CEO by the way, Techno King, Elon Musk will no doubt approve of. Musk has been confident about the Model Y's success even before it launched, estimating back in 2016 that it would draw demand in the 500,000 to 1 million unit per year level. And of course, this chart shows an interesting reality, which is that Tesla's Model Y is the best-selling vehicle, but Toyota owns 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I'm sure they are very disappointed to see their number one spot disappear, but they still own spots 2 through 5. Now, how long they're going to hold on to that, I don't know, because of course they're not making a move to electric at any kind of speed whatsoever. So I expect these numbers over the next quarters and years will change pretty rapidly, where you will see more and more EVs fill out these top spots rather than these traditional gas cars. Continuing, we should note that while a Tesla EV is currently the world's best-selling vehicle, the company certainly isn't the biggest global automaker overall. Volkswagen, Toyota, General Motors, and Ford all report higher revenue and unit sales by comparison. And according to Car Logos, Tesla doesn't even rank in the top 10 biggest global car manufacturers, sneaking in at 19th place for 2022. Musk has previously predicted that the Model Y would claim the top spot, telling investors in 2021, "We think the Model Y will be the best-selling car or vehicle of any kind in the world, probably next year. I'm not 100% certain next year, but I think it's quite likely, more likely than not, that 2022 Model Y is best-selling car or truck in the world." And I believe that is by revenue. I think that's what he said. I haven't gone back and checked the original quote. But anyway, regardless of what he said exactly, whether he said by revenue or by numbers in 2022, what we're seeing here is a massive win for Tesla. Yeah, they're not the biggest global distributor of cars yet, of course. They don't have that many factories. They can't produce that many cars. They don't have models of trucks and things like that. So they're not in all the markets yet. But the fact that the Model Y, and again, predicted by Elon Musk, the fact that the Model Y is the world's top-selling vehicle by numbers in the Q1 of 2023, and that should, of course, continue for the rest of the year, that has huge implications, not just for Tesla, it's a huge win for Tesla, but also for the EV transition. This really proves the fact that an electric vehicle is the best-selling car in the world proves that electric vehicles are here to stay. EVs are the future, and all manufacturers had better get on board with that. And of course, if you tie that into the Ford announcement, and I did a video on that yesterday, so check that out if you're interested, about Ford adopting Tesla's NACS, or North American Charging Standard plug, the software, the APIs, all of that stuff, and enabling Ford to seamlessly work with Tesla's supercharging network, we can see the direction that the future is going. It's going EV, it's going the direction that Tesla has basically been willing it in for the past decade or so. And this is all to the good for consumers, for the EV transition, for the environment as well, and of course for Tesla shareholders. All right, I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it fun and interesting and thought-provoking. If you did, please do like it so other people can find it. And of course, consider subscribing for more of this kind of content, and maybe to reward me for talking when my voice is basically gone today. So you can give me do me a solid by giving me a thumbs up or subscription for that. As always, a huge shout out to my patrons on Patreon, my YouTube channel members, and my Twitter subscribers as well. Thank you all so much for supporting me in any way that you can. You really do make this possible. And of course, if you want to join any of the teams, just check out the links in the description. And if you're interested in a whole bunch of really cool merch, check out our merch store. Link is in the description. We have TeslaBot t-shirts, the Tesla meme t-shirt, Success is a Possible Outcome, 4680 battery cells. All of that stuff is on t-shirts, mugs, tumblers, and on. So check it out. And finally, don't forget we are both Tesla and Amazon affiliates. If you look in the description, you can see how going shopping for a new Tesla, a solar roof, a power wall, or anything on Amazon helps out the channel. In the meantime, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.